The Hall of Ascension gleamed with living light, its crystalline walls pulsing in rhythm with the heartbeat of the Academy spire. Hundreds of cadets stood at rigid attention, 100 species gathered from every corner of the Orion Pact. They waited, silent as the void, for their turn to step beneath the eye of the eternal scanner. It was a ritual as old as the stars, designed not by mortal hands but left behind by the godlike architects who had once shaped the galaxy. The scanner judged the worth of every new initiate, measuring not only body and mind but the essence of what lay beneath. None had ever dared to defy it. None could. The cadets shifted, mandibles clicking, scales rustling, gill flares hissing in nervous breaths. The silence was broken only by the thunderous voice of Overseer Courage, a towering reptilian commander clad in obsidian armor. Step forward when called. The scanner shall know you. The pact shall claim you. One by one the names were called. Zyril of Korith. The insectoid stepped forward. The scanner, a floating orb of swirling light, descended with a hum, bathing the cadet in its gaze. After a long moment, the orb glowed green. Approved, intoned the machine. Zyril bowed and stepped aside. So it went for dozens of cadets. Each stepped forward, each bathed in light, each approved. The scanner passed them all without pause, never faltering. Until it came to the human. Elias Wren adjusted the collar of his cadet uniform, trying to still the anxious drumming of his heart. He had grown up on Earth's ruins, a world long dismissed as backward by the galaxy at large. Only in the last century had humans clawed their way into the Pact's notice, stubbornly surviving when extinction had seemed inevitable. He hadn't come to the Academy for glory. He had come because his planet needed a representative, a voice among the stars. He had come because if he failed, Earth would fade back into irrelevance, ignored by the great empires. When his name was called, he forced himself forward. Elias Wren of Terra. 1,000 alien eyes fixed on him. Some curious, some mocking, some disdainful. Humans were still considered a primitive anomaly in the Pact, a race of survivors with little else to offer. The scanner descended, humming softly. Its surface shimmered like liquid silver as tendrils of light reached for him. Elias felt the hairs on his arms rise as energy brushed against his skin. Then the orb froze. The humming turned into a sharp, rising whine. Colors bled from its surface. Green, then red, then an impossible shade of burning white that seared into the retinas of every cadet. The hall gasped. Overseer Coy stepped forward, hand reaching for the plasma sword at his hip. "What is this?" he hissed. The scanner's voice, mechanical, ancient, undeniable, echoed through the chamber. Carrier of the flame beyond gods. A silence fell so deep it seemed the spire itself had ceased to breathe. Elias blinked, struggling to understand. What does that mean? The orb pulsed violently, the very air warping around it. Then, with a crack of thunder, it shot backward, embedding itself in the crystalline wall. For the first time in recorded history, the scanner was broken. Panic followed. Cadets whispered, shouted, shrieked in fear. Some backed away from Elias as though he carried a plague. Others stared with something darker. Envy, suspicion, hatred. Overseer Kars silenced them with a roar that shook the chamber. His slitted eyes narrowed on Elias. "Ooh. What did you do?" "Nothing." Elias raised his hands, voice trembling. I just stood there." But Courage wasn't listening. His claw gestured, and armored guards stepped forward, weapons raised. "Take him. Until the council decides his fate." Elias was dragged from the hall, the eyes of hundreds of cadets burning holes into his back. They locked him in an obsidian cell deep within the spire. The walls thrummed with energy designed to nullify even the most powerful telepaths or shapeshifters. For hours, he sat in silence, trying to process what had happened. Carrier of the flame beyond gods. The words replayed endlessly in his head. Finally, the door hissed open. A figure entered. A woman cloaked in blue and silver, her skin marked with shifting constellations that moved as though alive. Her eyes were twin voids, black and endless. Elias recognized her immediately. High Seer Valera, Oracle of the Pact. She studied him in silence, her gaze unsettling, as if she peered through his skin and into the marrow of his soul. "At last," she whispered. "The prophecy unfolds." Elias frowned. "Prophecy? Look, I don't know what's going on. The scanner broke. I didn't do anything." Valera stepped closer, lowering her voice. "The architects, the beings who shaped the stars before time had meaning, left behind warnings. They spoke of a flame, a power greater than gods, hidden within a mortal shell. A weapon, or a salvation." Her eyes narrowed. "The scanner has found it. And it resides within you." Elias laughed nervously, shaking his head. "That's impossible. I'm just a kid from Earth. I'm not whatever that is." But Valera did not smile. "Whether you accept it or not, human, you are now the fulcrum upon which this galaxy turns." The council convened in secret. 4 days, Elias was questioned, examined, scanned by every machine the Pact could deploy. None could find the flame. His DNA was ordinary. His mind was measurable. And yet the scanner had spoken. The council was divided. Some argued he should be executed before the flame could awaken. Others believed he must be protected, nurtured, perhaps even crowned as a figurehead. But the choice was ripped from their hands. Because the enemy had heard. It began with shadows at the edge of space, black ships from the abyssal verge, an empire long thought dead. They swept across border worlds, leaving nothing but silence behind. When their envoys spoke, their words chilled the Pact to the core. "We seek the carrier. Give us the flame or watch your galaxy burn." Panic turned to desperation. And desperation turned all eyes toward Elias. Overseer Koi himself was sent to fetch him. "You will come with us," the reptilian growled, his voice heavy with contempt. "If you are truly the carrier, then you will be tested in battle. If you are not, then you will die quickly and save us the trouble." Elias swallowed hard but nodded. He didn't have a choice. They brought him to the front lines, a barren world where the verge descended like locusts. He was given no weapon, no armor, only a seat aboard the command vessel. As the enemy fleet emerged from the void, their ships blotting out the stars, the Pact's forces faltered. Fear rippled through them. And then Elias felt it. At first, it was only a warmth in his chest, like an ember stirred by wind. Then it spread, filling his veins, his bones, his very breath. His vision blurred, and he saw not with eyes but with something deeper. The enemy ships were living things, writhing with parasites of shadow. And inside him, something ancient stirred, roaring awake after millennia of silence. Flame. Elias staggered to the viewport, his body glowing with light no human had ever wielded. The overseer shouted. The crew recoiled. And Elias raised his hand. Fire erupted from his palm, not mere flame but starfire, the same energy that birthed suns. It leapt into the void, washing over the verge fleet. Ships crumbled like paper, shadows screamed and burned away. In moments an armada was ash. Silence followed.